Want to know everything there is to know about the 3 new Renegades Exotics in Destiny 2, but don't want to watch a 10-minute long build video? I got you. Let's go through all 3 in 3 minutes. Let's start with Fortune's Favor. Fortune's Favor is the most practical exotic out of the 3. It is used for both neutral play and damage. It provides 70% damage reduction, which stacks with other sources. This means that if you have an armor set bonus like Smoke Jumper, Ferropotent, or Aeon Adapter, the DR they provide will stack. This exotic works well with specific fragments and aspects. For example, on the Prismatic subclass with Tether and Facet of Purpose equipped, even if your Fortune's Favor overshield becomes depleted, you can pick up an orb and get a small chunk of overshield back before the main one regenerates. Similarly, it also synergizes well with the Void subclass. You can turn invisible easily by dodging with the Vanishing Step aspect, which gives Fortune's Favor overshield lots of time to regen if broken. Fragments that work well with Fortune's Favor are Starvation, Vigilance, and Persistence. When you gain Devour from the Echo of Starvation fragment, your health will be full often, which means more overshield uptime from the exotic. If you use the Vigilance fragment, you'll get a quick bump to your overshield if you get a kill when your shields are broken. This can hold you over until your main overshield comes back. With the Persistence fragment, your overshield timer on Fortune's Favor jumps from a base 10 seconds to a base of 15. There are several weapons that work well with this exotic. While on Void, you can combine the effects of Fortune's Favor with the stylish Executioner aspect and a Praxic blade with an impact core. Since you're on Void, every hit of the blade will weaken, and since you have the stylish Executioner aspect, you'll go invisible off every kill you get. Similarly, you can use an energy weapon with destabilizing rounds and or a repulsor brace to chain even more invisibility and overshields. Finally, a heavy weapon that synergizes well with this build is the Wolfsbane Exotic Sword with Attrition Orbs. In addition to all of the DR and survivability Fortune's Favor gives, it also applies a flat 15% damage buff to non-heat weapons and a 20% damage buff to heat weapons. These apply as long as your overshield is active. Next, let's talk about the Warlock Exotic Demi-Suffusion. The most interesting way to build into this is to run a Shackle Grenade, the Mindspun Invocation aspect, and the Thread of Generation fragment. When you consume your grenade, you activate Weaver's Trance. Final blows while its 25-second timer is active create suspensions. Because of the exotic, suspensions now heal you over time. When you use this in a room of adds, the result is a baby version of Void Devour. While the Shackle Nade has a pretty long cooldown, Thread of Generation will return nade energy while dealing damage. This helps make sure you always have a nade available to eat since your Weaver's Trance timer cannot be extended. This build works well with the Weaver's Call aspect and Thread of Evolution. This gives a bit of extra damage and ad clear from Threadlings on Rift activation. Casting Rift also creates suspensions due to Demi-Suffusion. This helmet has the potential to pair well with the new exotic Service of Lazaku machine gun, the Wishkeeper exotic bow, or just regular old strand mint. The final exotic, Praxic Vestment, is unfortunately not very practical in my opinion. It does provide a temporary plus 40 melee stat when you collide with an enemy, however the slam damage is pretty negligible. What it is good for is neutral movement. Combining this exotic with mountaintop jumping or a sword with eager edge can lead to some fast movement, and you can travel several meters with little effort. It also recharges fairly quickly.